President Trump has left the G7 summit in Canada early because of the continuing crisis in the Middle East. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt made the announcement Monday evening, saying President Trump is returning to Washington so that he can attend to many important matters.
CNN's Caitlin Collins, who's in Canada with the president, got word that he's cutting his trip short there from the G7 and returning to Washington tonight, further amplifying the notion that the U.S.
Trump's exit from the G7, a shocking moment for Canada. When U.S. President Donald Trump unexpectedly exited the 2025 G7 summit in Alberta, Canada seized the opportunity to fill the diplomatic vacuum left behind. Within moments, Prime Minister Mark Carney made several bold moves that shifted the direction of the summit. From striking an Arctic-Pacific defense deal with South Korea to securing a $4 million development guarantee for Latin America, Canada quickly positioned itself as a new leader in global diplomacy. But did the Alberta summit mark the beginning of a shift in global power with a new center of influence rising from the north? Or was this just the start of a larger, more chaotic global shift? Let's dive into the details of these dramatic developments and explore what they mean for the world. Canada steps up. Carney's strategic moves. Trump's surprise departure from the summit didn't just leave an empty chair, it created an opening for Canada to redefine its role. In the last 24 hours of the summit, Ottawa strategically took on three critical roles traditionally held by the U.S.: defense industry cooperation, global development financing, and critical mineral security. Prime Minister Carney, during his final press conference, emphasized the need for a new geometry of working together, a signal that the U.S.-centric G7 structure was beginning to crack. One of Canada's most significant moves came in a meeting with South Korean President Lee Jung, who made his first foreign appearance since taking office. Lee is reshaping Korea's foreign policy around trade and diplomatic relations, and Canada was quick to align with this vision. The two leaders agreed to bolster their defense ties, focusing on Arctic security. South Korean technology, particularly in unmanned surveillance systems, will be integrated into Canada's military, while South Korea will gain access to Canada's shipbuilding expertise. This deal brought South Korea into Washington's exclusive defense network, long controlled by the U.S. critical minerals and new alliances. The next day, Canada took another major step by launching a new initiative to secure critical minerals. Canada, along with Germany, South Korea, and Japan, has taken the lead in building a strategic supply chain for vital resources like nickel, cobalt, and rare earth metals. This alliance could reduce global dependence on China and enhance Canada's standing in the global economy. Canada takes the lead in foreign aid. In a bold move, Canada also took the initiative in global development financing. During the summit, the Canadian government unveiled a $544 million loan guarantee program aimed at improving infrastructure and climate resilience in Latin America and the Caribbean. This initiative comes at a time when the U.S. has significantly cut back on foreign aid, signaling a shift in global leadership roles. While modest compared to the cuts made by the U.S., Canada's new foreign aid strategy shows its readiness to fill the gap left by Washington's retreat from global responsibilities. Trade tensions and diplomatic leverage. Prime Minister Carney didn't shy away from the summit's main point of tension, the escalating trade war with the U.S. When asked about Trump's proposed tariffs on steel and aluminum, Carney described them as a minefield in international trade. Carney also addressed the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. He expressed dissatisfaction with the U.S.'s watered-down stance in the final G7 statement, revealing that Canada would have taken a stronger position. Despite this, Canada announced an additional $2.3 billion in support for Ukraine, including military aid and infrastructure recovery funds. Defense and the Iron Dome controversy. A particularly controversial moment came when Trump suggested that Canada might join Israel's Iron Dome defense system. While Carney did not directly respond to the financial implications of the system, he made it clear that Canada's military needs are shifting. Carney stated, indicating that Canada might increase its defense responsibilities in the Arctic. This could involve integrating missile defense into Canada's NORAD system, marking a significant shift in Canada's military strategy. The rise of a new global power structure. The final session of the summit reinforced a new multipolar global order. With the U.S. less dominant than before, Canada is positioning itself as a leader in global diplomacy. From the Arctic defense deal to the new mineral alliances, Canada is filling the power vacuum left by the U.S. and shifting the G7 into a more diverse coalition. Carney's closing remarks, which included a call for new strategies to address global challenges, resonated deeply. Nostalgia is not a strategy, he said, emphasizing the need for new, complex solutions in a rapidly changing world. Canada's soft power and strategic positioning. Canada's foreign policy shift is also evident in its approach to global finance. With the U.S. pulling back from development initiatives, Canada's $544 million investment in Latin America is a signal of its growing influence in global finance. This initiative could pave the way for more multilateral investment strategies and offer a new model for international collaboration. Looking ahead, is Canada ready to lead? The real test of Canada's new role on the world stage will come in the coming months, especially as trade tensions with the U.S. continue to rise. However, Canada's actions at the G7 summit indicate that it is prepared to take on more diplomatic risks. Whether Canada can maintain its momentum and successfully navigate these challenges remains to be seen. The Alberta Summit has clearly set the stage for a more multipolar world, where smaller nations like Canada are stepping up to fill the leadership void left by the U.S. If this trend continues, Canada's leadership could be crucial in shaping the future of global diplomacy. What do you think about Canada's growing role on the world stage? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates and click the notification bell so you never miss a video.